What's up, y'all, and welcome back to Miss Main Event. I am Tasha. And look, this weekend, beginning with December 12th, felt like a reset. I am full, y'all. My soul feels so good because after weeks of recycled debates, speculative takes, off-season noise, women's basketball finally gave us something real to chew on. Actual footage of people on a court with a basketball. Actual movement. Now, this is the kind of news story that reminds me why covering this sport is really fun in the first place. See, while much of the sports world was still stuck on autopilot, the women's basketball game on the professional level came alive all at once, y'all. It's a beautiful thing to witness. Team USA opened their pivotal training camp. Now, WNBA stars made some meaningful moves off the court, and alternative leagues raised the stakes. Suddenly, there was substance again. Not manufactured drama, not projections, momentum. And that momentum started at Duke University, where Team USA opened women's national team training camp and quietly signaled that the next era is not just theoretical, it is already underway. That next era is calling themselves Young and Turnt. I love it. I think I love it. Sounds like the title of a soap opera or some ish. But anyway, let's talk about the big picture because this is kind of huge. It's a big thing. First and foremost, we've got Kahleah Lawson. She is now fully in the driver's seat for her first major run as head coach of the U.S. team. She's teamed up with Sue Bird, who is officially managing director. That is a full circle moment for Sue Bird. But anyway, they are basically the architects that are steering this ship toward what we all expect. And what do we expect? A fifth straight FIBA World Cup title at the 2026 tournament in Berlin. Now that's news in itself, but the roster of fine folks they assembled in Durham, that is a real headline. Because we of course had the vets, the absolute gold standard. We're talking Olympic champions like Brittney Griner, Kahleah Copper, Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray. Now, these are the women who have carried USA basketball on their backs through all the chaos, the pressure, and those non-negotiable gold medal expectations. Because y'all know, we expect nothing less than gold. But we got a whole different vibe going on now, too, because we also have the new wave, Young and Turnt. We got Paige Bueckers, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, Rakia Jackson. I could go on. These young stars are finally stepping into the senior national team environment, not as future prospects, not as little projects. They are true-to-life competitors right here, right now. What I've been seeing is looking so good. And let's be clear, this isn't a PR moment. This is a 5-alarm fire. The sky's this basketball. So take Caitlin, for example. We had not seen Caitlin playing since July, right? Since July. So she came off that WNBA season that was riddled with injuries. It was really departure for her. And in the beginning, when I first started watching the footage that was coming out of Team USA camp, she was looking a little bit winded. You can tell that her conditioning was visibly a work in progress. But she hits that signature step back three, and you instantly remember exactly why she's Caitlin Clark when she's locked in. Kahleah Lawson's take on it was perfect as well. She stressed that Caitlin was focused, she's engaged, she has to be strong on both ends of the floor. We're not going to make excuses. We're not giving any free passes. That is also a non-negotiable culture being set right now. You want to see her not only operate as an offensive powerhouse, but also do the work on defense. And she's a bit rusty, but she still is Caitlin Clark. And as far as Kara Lawson's take, that is a genuinely brilliant take. And we know the World Cup qualifiers are coming up in March in San Juan, Puerto Rico, against teams like Spain, Italy, New Zealand, others. But the United States has already clinched a spot in the World Cup. So these qualifier games are not going to be just exhibition games. They are becoming live, high-stakes auditions for Berlin. Every single possession will be a test for young interns, and every rotation is going to be invaluable information for the coaching staff. We're not going to waste any evaluation time. Every opportunity they get to see these ladies play with one another is going to be part of the bigger picture, how they coalesce, and who makes the final team. And one more quick detail that speaks volumes. Young players, college players were there as well. You had Juju Watkins. Now, we know Juju Watkins is recovering from ACL surgery, so she's not on the floor, but she was fully present. She was watching, she was learning, she was absorbing. That is how you establish continuity. You're deliberately folding the future into the present. So very smart move for the organizers, and very smart move on Juju and Lauren Betts and the like to accept. All right. So that was what was going on the court, and it was so much to see. And if there was one point we were watching the scrimmage, now Chelsea Gray had to go ahead on and show these kids that she is still the point guard. However, we got to see some rotations, some teams that were put together, and of course in very brief snippets and basically sound bites. But it gives me hope, because to see the way these young ladies started off on Friday, and by ending up on Sunday, what we saw in the snippets from Team USA training camp was these young players are able to work together as a unit, and I loved seeing it. So anyway, we're going to pivot off the court for a second, because Angel Reese was making completely different kind of noise at the same time. Now, through the Angel Reese Foundation, she teamed up with the 53 Families Foundation for this massive holiday toy drive in Chicago. And she was the top donor. She covered the entire toy need for the event. So that's more than just a quick photo op. That's laying down philanthropic infrastructure. Now, we know that she's a beast on the court, two-time All-Star. She drops close to 14 points, 13 boards a night. But then we're seeing that off the court, she's building a real serious operation focused on things that matter. Giving girls access to sports, education, financial literacy. So she did the back to school drives, legitimate anti-cyberbullying campaigns, which she should know a thing or two about. And she did these holiday giveaways that actually follow through. So Angel Reese is who we think she is off the court and on the court. And her commercial profile is just blowing up. She debuted the Angel Reese 1 signature shoe, started back in September with the Diamond Dust colorway. That's everything. Beautiful. And is blending the toughness of Angel Reese and the style of Reese in a way that perfectly captures her brand. And then she dropped from there multiple other colorways that immediately sold out. So she's having her a great time. And that's not all she's been up to on the sponsorship side of things. To the absolute delight of fans, number 5, Angel Reese linked up with another number 5, Paige Bueckers, for a Reese's and Oreo campaign. That's 2 of the biggest names in women's basketball getting a huge mainstream marketing push. Heck, I might even try that candy. I haven't yet. If you have, please let me know what you thought of it. And then we're going to talk about the way she handled some drama. So remember, she did not leave the Chicago Sky organization in the end of the 2025 season with a very good taste in her mouth. There was an interview that she did, and gosh, I think it was the Chicago Sun-Times. Do not quote me on that. But she did that interview, and she made some comments that she says taken out of context. But the team looked at what she said, hey, you have made comments detrimental to the team. You have kind of made a rift in this locker room, and then they suspended her for half a game. But when the second half of the game came, she's like, I ain't playing. So anywho, we remember all of that crap that happened. Well, of course, the media could not help but to ask Angel about that situation, and she quickly put all the public speculation about her leaving Chicago to bed, despite the public falling out that she had with the team. So she didn't draw it out. She didn't offer more than what she should have. She simply made a clean, clear statement. She is under contract. She plans to be with the Chicago Sky for the foreseeable future. Now that is narrative control, and it's showing that she is maturing. She's a star who now understands that her legacy is not going to be accidental. It's going to be built on purpose. And she has absolutely learned a lesson, it seems, about choosing her words carefully, especially when talking to the media. And that, to me, signals growth. Now, we just talked about Angel and the AR1s. So this is naturally going to pivot us to a shoe conversation. And it is finally starting to heat up and get the heat that it deserves, because we've seen a growing, unified push calling out these sneaker brands for their ridiculously slow, cautious approach to women's signature shoe lines. And honestly, it's about time we start throwing our weight around as a fandom, because A'ja Wilson proved that the entire market will work with the A1s. And then we know Caitlin Clark's Nike deal is coming, and we've already discussed Angel Reese. But seriously, where is the urgency for literally everyone else? Paige Bueckers was the first college athlete to get player exclusives from a major brand. She won Rookie of the Year. So where's her actual signature line? Players like Kahleah Copper, an Olympic gold medalist, consistent powerhouse for Team USA, a mainstay on the top of the leaderboards. Why isn't Adidas throwing a massive push behind her? And then you think about Kelsey Plum. She's got the skills, she's got the fire, she's got the charisma. And then she's also now got the huge Southern California reach. Y'all know Southern California is not a niche market. That is prime, must-have commercial real estate. So why are we not seeing anything there? Now, for years, literal years, we heard the same lame excuse. Oh, there are very few marketable WNBA players. Then Caitlin Clark walks in and suddenly, the whole story flips. But let's be real. The truth is much, much simpler. The people with the money throw their money behind who they want to. The players were always marketable. The brands just weren't paying attention to them. And they decided to start paying attention with Caitlin Clark, which, understandably, she's got a huge fan base. She carried that fan base from high school to college and now to the pros. But you act like there was no other big fan base out there. Again, Angel Reese's shoes sold out quickly. A'ja Wilson's shoes sold out quickly. And I fully expect Caitlin Clark's shoes to sell out quickly. There are other women that you can push in these conversations about signature shoe lines and clothing lines, and I really wish they would do it. Well, it seems like now they ain't got a choice. They're going to be forced to. The fans are going to, again, push for their favorite to get their signature shoe. And finally, we got some good news, bad news on the Unrivaled front. So, the 3-on-3 league is seriously doubling down for season 2 in a way that just screams confidence and entertainment. They have decided to go with a new $50,000 free throw challenge. The winner is going to be chosen after game 5, I think. Now, the prize is going to the player with the highest free throw average during those games. Now, let me mention 8 of the 10 most efficient free throw shooters from the 2025 WNBA season are playing in Unrivaled. I'm going to post a chart on Substack if you want to get a visualization of how that stacks up. But anyway, I think the contest could end up being extremely entertaining. You got some players who, of course, will make it to the line more than others. There are rules that are going to be surrounding how many attempts and how many tries and how many games. But we do have a lot of players who will create contact. And when they create contact and hit the free throws, their stock is shooting up on the free throw challenge. I'm going to be watching Unrivaled, so of course I'm going to keep my eye on the free throw challenge. But anywho, I think with all the certified superstars on the rosters, the actual on-court product is going to be completely legit, just like it was last season. But these added incentives are very smart. And of course, the fan investment should be really real. And then I guess I shouldn't end it on such a freaking low note. But there is something like very sobering that we have to address here. That Satou Sabally has been ruled out indefinitely from Unrivaled. She is still dealing with lingering concussion symptoms from the WNBA finals back in October. We are 2 months out, and she is still dealing with the effects of that collision where her head violently hit a defender's knee. And that kind of news should immediately make everybody stop and pause. Because the fans, many of us were upset with the Phoenix Mercury training staff for allowing Satou Sabally to walk off the court after that collision. And I guess now that we see that she is still dealing with repercussions from that collision, we think there should be some changes for how these types of on-the-court head injuries should be handled. All of this is going to be based on a Sabally situation and I think Lexi Hall with the black eyes. Remember, accidents happen, things happen, but it is our reaction to those things. And I mean, pushing things a bit further. Remember how the Indiana Fever had this onslaught of injuries? We have to ask ourselves, what was going on in that training room? Why did so many of their players end up with injuries? Is there something that could be done to prevent it? We do not want people hurt, period. I don't care who it is. You do not want to see players injured, and you want to see the reaction to the injury be more player first, I guess. So, of course, we wish Satou a very speedy recovery and a complete recovery. We would like to see her back on the court being her regular aggressive self. We don't want to see her playing scared after this injury. That said, Unrivaled still moved very quickly. They've got Tiffany Hayes stepping in to take Satou's spot on the Phantom Ball Club, but her situation is just a necessary reminder that with all the growth of women's basketball comes a very huge responsibility, and that player health absolutely cannot be the cost of all of this momentum. So that's all I got for this weekend. And what is my big takeaway from this big, beautiful weekend that we just had? it wasn't just about a couple of random headlines. I could actually continue going, but I've got other things to do today. But this weekend was possibly the closest thing I'm getting to a Christmas present this year. We had good discourse across multiple topics in women's basketball. And so what more can I ask for, right? Gosh, it was so great seeing Team USA and the intentionality that they are having in building its next dynasty. We saw players using their huge platforms with real purpose. Fans that are on these brands' asses, and we gonna stay on their asses, and they may finally be forced to level up, do better when it comes to sponsorship deals for these players. And the unrivaled league is investing big, not just dabbling around the edges, big investments in their players and in the entertainment factor of their productions. So, also, there are other alternative leagues, right? But if you want to hear me go on a deep dive on one of these other alternatives, listen to my recent episode called Player First or Promise First: What Project B Can Learn from Grand Slam Track. That, to me, was an episode, honestly, that I enjoyed doing, and I enjoyed making the comparisons there. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this little breakdown of what went on this past weekend. And if you've got anything to add, I'd love to hear from you. You can send me an email at msmaineventpod@gmail.com, or you can find me on any of the social medias except for Twitter. Y'all know I don't do Twitter, and I refuse to call it that other thing. So every place else though, Facebook, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, I am Miss Main Event Pod on all those things. And if you forget what that is, you can also just look in the show notes. Yeah, put all that stuff down in the show notes. That's what they're there for. Look in the show notes. And if you're in the show notes and you say, Tasha, I want to continue to fuel your ability to talk about sports, you can buy me a coffee. And right now, you can tell I'm a little wired. Yeah, but just had a great big old cup of coffee. And that keeps me fueled up. All that stuff is going to be down in the show notes. So hope you take a look down there and see something that you like. Anywho, it has been fun. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.